Radio Free Tatooine presents Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast.
Boshuda, fellow Holotable hustlers, you're tuned into Galactic War Report, a Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes podcast that's better than some and worse than others. I'm Sean, a.k.a. the other Sean, and it's just me today as Josh is out doing work things, but I suppose you got to get that money, right? That's why we grind at Galaxy of Heroes, is to get those sweet purple crystals. He's getting those sweet green dollars instead. I guess it makes sense. It makes sense. We'll give him a pass tonight. Welcome back to us, I guess. To me, anyways. It's been a while. We had a couple weeks off for the break. You know, sometimes around the holidays, we churn out a couple episodes. This year, we decided, there's not a lot going on, and we personally had a lot going on. So we took some time off, but it is great to be back. I'm sad that Josh isn't here. I know he is too. We chatted earlier. He will be back, and that means he's got one more week to update who he's grinding. I mean, it's going to be crazy. That'll be like a full month of grinding for Josh. Wow. Nuts. Okay, so what is new? I mean, Capital Games kind of goes on break around the holidays, and it takes a while for them to get back into the office, and I shouldn't say that. That makes it sound like they're lollygagging. They're not. But they get back into the office, and that doesn't mean we see results that day. We don't see updates that day. It's something that, it takes a little time to get things churning and releasing. And so that's kind of where we are right now. That time is almost up. The new episode is about to start. We're still getting used to the episode seasons and eras, whatever. But the new episode's about to start. That'll be the Bad Batch themed one. So we'll get the content going again very soon. I have no doubt about that. But for tonight, we are talking about Galactic Legend Ahsoka Tano. She's out in the wild. We've seen what she can do. We've seen what takes her out, what she can take out. We're going to talk about that. Is she worth it? As well as kind of compare her. The other big new thing that's coming very soon is dark side version of Rey. So what is that going to look like? Kind of which one's going to have a bigger impact, and we'll get into the minutia of that in a bit. We're also going to catch you up on some Grand Arena goings on. But first, as is always the case here at Galactic War Report, we have to celebrate some blurf days. All right, this week we've got a few. We have on the 11th, Fox. Remember that guy? I don't remember the last time I used him, but First Order Executioner hit the game on January 11th, 2018. That was the start of something big, wasn't it? Not really. He was just kind of the tail end of some First Order stuff that came out. He was kind of hot for a minute, and I reference him all the time. I'll reference him later in this episode. I guarantee I will, because he was a good, impactful character. I still don't hate his kit. It's just power creep kind of pushes things to the side. And, Supreme Leader Kylo Ren comes out, and you're like, well, First Order is different forever. But he was a good little attacker, had a dispel on basic, I believe. Maybe it was a special. Did some decent damage, and his kit was super brief. Like, he has a basic, he has a special, and he's just a guy, And I love that, and I miss that, because every kit that comes out now is, a lot to deal with. But happy Blurf Day First Order Executioner. Now, the very next day on the 12th is Zori Bliss, who has been in the game, will have been in the game, I guess, for 2 years now. 2023, she hit the table. She's kind of a fun one, too. She has a similar vibe to her in that she wasn't, like, needed. You know what I mean? Like, she was... The resistance, we had it figured out. We knew how to use resistance. We had Rey. Everything's fine. We're doing good. And then Zori comes out, and, of course... her being a pilot in Rise of Skywalker is a big deal. So we're like, well, I guess we're getting another Resistance ship. So that's pretty cool. But then we kind of tried out her Omicron, and she kind of made Resistance scraps fun. And that's really cool. And I appreciate her for that. Well-designed kit. She's good. I almost gave her Omicron the other day. I almost did. I settled on someone else. We'll get to that later. But, man, she is always... Her and Dash, I swear, they've both been on my to-do list of Omicrons for, like, ages. And I know that the age or the era or the episode or whatever of Dash is kind of over. Like, his Omicron isn't exactly groundbreaking anymore. But I still plan on doing it relatively soon. I still think it's fun. So, you know, I'll have a little fun. On the 13th, it's just bingo bango. 11, 12, 13, right? On the 13th is Iden Versio. 3 years in the game. 2022, she hit the tables. This is their January thing. It's the January surprise, right? First Order Executioner comes out, and cool, I got something to plug into a First Order team. That's great. Zori, oh, here's a new way to use some kind of junky Resistance characters. And Iden, again, a lifter for the forgotten Imperial troopers. No one, at least in my circle, no one was saying... Man, I wish I could make Snow Trooper shine, you know, or anything like that. It was like we got a Veers Trooper team and we're all pretty happy with it. I mean, that's kind of our thing. And we got Moff Gideon and we're like, oh, okay, I guess I can figure out how to split them up or whatever. But no one was thinking, let's make a third Trooper team. But here we are, you know, and with Remnant, with Dark Trooper Moff Gideon, arguably, you've got 4 solid Trooper teams now. It's crazy how they've done that. But Iden really, really had an impact when she first came out. I mean, she was very fun. I mean, solid on defense, but certain teams just, if you were piloting her, and still, you can use her to take some interesting things out. We love that. Again, with a great ship for quite a while. Not anymore, because rest in peace, TIE Defender. Those days are done. Although I used it in Grand Arena, and I guess we'll talk about how successful that was later. But on the 14th, we have the Armorer. So it's the 11th, the 12th, the 13th, and the 14th. We're going to be eating some cupcakes this week, you guys, every day. Armorer, another one. A Mandalorian hits the table and kind of isn't required for anything, but does some interesting things to Sith Eternal Emperor, to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren, or, of course, a Mandalorian team. Anyone who normally can solo something, she's kind of like Watt in this way. Anyone who can solo something, but it's kind of sketchy, throw Armorer in there. She'll turn the tides, you know, give them that extra little push. And I love characters like that. That's one of the only areas where this game is creative for players anymore, is where you throw Supreme Leader Kylo with, you know what, I'm going to use the Night Sister Zombie with Armorer or something. Like, That's one of the only ways, because everything else is prescribed. You're not going to use Galactic Legend Ahsoka without also using Ezra and Sabine. You know what I mean? Like, they're all teams that we just, that's just the team. And so that's pretty cool. I like to see that stuff, which is not to say we don't get that anymore. We certainly do. Look at Darth Bane. I mean, him and any Sith, you know, there's still plenty of that around. It's just that those are kind of fun characters to actually think about a little bit. All right. Now you're going to hear my voice is going a little bit, and that I'm not sick. I just, it's late in the day and we didn't do it earlier. So my wife and I just did a pretty intense HIIT workout. And if you're not into fitness and you don't know what HIIT is, it's absolute agony. It stands for high intensity, absolute agony. So my voice is, my lungs are screaming. So that's what's going on with me. Okay, let's take a look this week at this week's upcoming in-game events, brought to you by swgohevents.com for a complete list of past, present, and future events. swgohevents.com is a universe of info in a galaxy of heroes. Now, as this releases on the 10th, we've got an Omega battle, an Imperial Fleet Omega battle. On the 11th, we have an assault battle. We're doing Forest Moon, and they're all, I love this about this game. They are all sim. It's so beautiful. And side note, in my time off, we had a Secrets and Shadows come around, and I beat it. Challenge Tier 3 with Great Mothers. It's so doable. It's still frustrating because I beat it last time, but I didn't get 3 stars. This time, I did it. I never have to play that again. And I don't care if I don't do a lot of like guides or anything on YouTube, but if I get into doing guides, cool. Maybe it's something I've flirted with. Let me know if that's something you would be interested in. Hit me up on Discord. Discord link's always in the show description. But that's not a thing. I won't be doing a guide for that because I'm like, on principle, I will not play Secrets and Shadows again. It is so painful and it sucked so many hours out of my life over the years, but it's done. Okay, on the 11th, we have that assault battle, Forest Moon. We also have Emperor's Demise Mythic event. On the 12th, we'll have a credit heist, always welcome, as well as sign up for Territory War number 359. On the 13th, we've got a couple. We've got sign up for Grand Arena, Season 61. This is our last week of 3v3. Aw, I know, we're all so sad. But then we're going to have to face Ahsoka in 5 versus 5. And we don't have as much data on that. But we'll get to that. Let's see. That's 3v3 Grand Arena sign up. We also have an Omega battle on Coruscant. On the 14th, we'll have Defense of Dathomir. That's where you get your Mother Talzin shards and or Zetas. On the 15th, we have Discarded Doctrine for your Executor blueprints, as well as Secrets and Shadows. Sim. And on the 16th, we have a sign up for Territory War number 360. Now, before we get into this week's top stories, I want to give a couple notices first. Our hearts are with the people affected by the fires in Los Angeles. I've been talking to people online through work and through Discord and through wherever that have been affected, and that's awful. If you are able to give, I'll post a link of, I'll do a link in the show notes of some of the organizations that are helping those people kind of deal with that, whether it's helping the firefighters or the people displaced. There's a lot of people out there doing a lot of good work, but there's a lot more to be done. As we know, they're still going uncontained right now. So it's very serious, and our hearts are with those folks, and we're giving, and we're hoping that some of y'all will as well. The other thing, I want to give a little shout out to our Patreon supporters, because giving to us is what's allowing us to give to them also. So that's very cool. We appreciate what you do. Your support makes this podcast possible. And if you want to be a part of that, go to patreon.com/Galactic War Report. You get access to secret areas of our Discord server. What? A lot of secret conversations. But you also at various levels can get early access to episodes. You can get access to our our weekly Doth Chat, which is after my Wednesday Twitch stream. We go on about 8:30 Eastern time on Wednesdays and have a little chat with our patrons. And that's a lot of fun. And you should be a part of that if you're cool. But you're listening to this podcast, so you're probably cool. Okay, now then, there's no Pop-Tart here to punch it. So I guess it's down to me. I'll be punching it. All right, so Bad Batch era, I mentioned that is starting soon. That's starting on the 14th. So finish up your episode quests. If you have any, if you got the pass and you're doing quests associated with that, you've only got a couple days to do it. If you haven't figured this out, you can just go into Galactic War and usually knock those out very easily. Like, apply Blight 10 times. Cool. I'll use the Enoch team and put it on auto. In just a few nodes, you have it done. So that's been helpful for me. Easy peasy. The data mines are showing some new characters coming. Not a big surprise. Looks like 5 marquees are slated to hit. And potentially 2 others. So I don't know if that's going to be... they said that conquest characters aren't really going to be a part of episodes. So it may be sort of journey type things like a Balin Skull or Great Mothers. Great Mothers wasn't a journey. That's part of a journey. But, something like that potentially. But we've got certainly some Bad Batch stuff coming. I mean, as far as the marquees, it's kind of fluid who the Bad Batch are, but we're clearly getting a Hunter, Echo, and Wrecker, right? Spoilers. Those are the 3 that I'm very confident we're getting. I think it's really safe to say we'll be getting a new Omega as well, since she's the one that changed the most, arguably. And then the other, I don't know, like probably either Tech or I would think Tech, right? Crosshair could be like the journey one, potentially. Or even Omega could be. I don't know. Because she went on a journey through the seasons, So yeah, that's pretty cool. I think there's a little bit of speculation here too, that this Bad Batch era is leading us into a Zillo Beast raid, which is kind of interesting, I think. I want to take a moment to talk about this, because if it's a Zillo Beast raid, I mean, I'd be fine with that. That's cool. I love the Zillo Beast design, and it seems like great content to turn into a raid. But this is the first Galactic Legend to be released without a raid that it can be used in. Galactic Legend Ahsoka, right? So unless they make if they make Spectre units work in the Zillo Beast raid, which would not make sense. Like with the speeder bike raid, you had rebels, you had Imperial troopers, like that, Ewoks, that made sense. With the Crate Dragon, you had Mandalorians, Tuskens, Jawas. There weren't any Jawas in that episode of The Mandalorian, but kind of makes sense, and then, of course, Battle for Naboo is very spot on. They even like pull out the characters that wouldn't have been there, like a General Grievous or something. So if this is going to be a Zillo Beast raid, I feel like that's that's like Galactic Republic again. So I'm not sold on the fact that it would be a Zillo Beast raid. I think it could be, but I don't. Something feels there's a disturbance in the Force here. And that said, if Ahsoka is featured in the new raid, I don't know what she would be fighting, because everything she's fought in the series that I can think of, and I haven't rewatched it all. I started a rewatch and didn't get through it because I work from home and I watch a lot of stuff, but I don't really pay attention to it. So I really just listen to more podcasts. But, which you should too. You should listen to all of our podcasts. But anyways, I don't know what she would even fight besides Thrawn. Huh? Maybe? No? Probably not. Anyways, so yeah, that's the Bad Batch era. Now let's talk about this GL Ahsoka. Man, there's a lot of Ahsokas. At least with her, you can tell which one it is because her portrait it's like a lot more close-up kind of portrait looking than the others. Snips is pretty easy to tell. She's kind of angled different and looks younger. But I'll tell you, Kat and Fulcrum look so similar. And even like their portraits look almost exactly the same. And even once you start up the battle, which I know they're not normally on the same team, but Fulcrum fits pretty well on a 3v3 GK team if you have her Datacron. Not a bad third. Use both Ahsokas and Kenobi. It ain't bad. That said, even once the battle starts, I'm like, which one is which? Oh my goodness. I can't even. But okay. Enough about that. Actual Galactic Legend Ahsoka. I mean, I see it everywhere. I see it on YouTube. I see it on Reddit, in Discord. People are let down by Ahsoka Tano. And I understand that because we kind of have this precedent that's been set by other Galactic Legends that they come out and they're going to be used in a raid. And they've got special events, like Leia and Jabba both have special events that use them. And we're not seeing that yet with GL Ahsoka. So there's kind of like this value proposition there that you're like, okay, seems less useful. So I don't know, maybe in this episode, we're going to see the introduction of some of that. That would feel pretty good. I would love to see more of a payoff there. So that's the one part of the argument that I really, really believe in, that I'm like, all right, yeah, that makes sense. But I think the other side of it is people are saying she's more expensive than other Galactic Legends. And that is true. That is significantly more expensive. 3 Relic 9 characters is nothing to sneeze at. That said, that's always the case. You remember when, who was it? When Kenobi came out and you had to take gas to Relic 8? And we were like, what? I don't want to do that. You know, that's the nature of this game. It's always pushing further. And so that argument holds a little less water to me. Like, because of course, Relic 9, 3 Relic 9 characters is a much bigger investment than we've ever had to do. But of course it was going to be like that. The next Galactic Legend is going to need 5 Relic 9 characters and 1 Relic 10. Like, that's how this progresses. And I don't know. That doesn't bother me. I have her, now what do I do with her part? I still wouldn't say it bothers me, but I get that. I get that frustration. But the other thing that I want to point out that I think that a lot of people have kind of not mentioned, and I don't know, maybe I'm just like old school, or old school is like a nice way to say a curmudgeon, like an old fart. I don't know. Stuck in my ways. I don't know. what I appreciate about her is her performance in PvP. She beats a lot of teams. She also can be beaten by a lot of teams. And I think that is exactly what I want in a Galactic Legend. So power level, I haven't unlocked her yet, right? I've just seen some videos and read some bits and pieces. But power level, that's exactly where I want it. Because this kind of game is so hard to make new content for when the power just keeps creeping and creeping and creeping and creeping. You look at these kits, and this is where I said I was going to mention First Order Executioner. A character like that, that's never going to happen again. That is never going to happen again. And it's sad, but that's what's happened to the game. And I don't, for all the, not showboating, what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. All the bravado that we all have about our ability to, like, if I were in charge, I would blah, blah, blah. Look, the truth is, if you were in charge, this game would have shut down years ago. If I were in charge, it wouldn't have even launched, right? Like, so as much as I hate to see the power creep, like, I guess at the end of the day, that's kind of, that's kind of the nature of the game. So seeing a character come out that isn't really like, oh my God, she's breaking the game, to me is a breath of fresh air. I mean, there's still a lot going on with her. Oh my goodness, the healing she does to the team and the effects that, like, the ramping. Oh my, I can't even wrap my head around all the things she does right now. But I appreciate that it's not like game breaking. It's confusing, but it's gonna fit right into the meta, and we will move on. And so, is she worth it? As with all things, it depends. If you've got 3 Galactic Legends and you're a really, 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 really big fan of Ahsoka Tano, the bad news is it's probably not worth it. If you've got all of the Galactic Legends, of course it is. If you're only missing one, I mean, I guess it depends on which one you're missing, right? Like, I'd say Jabba and Leia are still very high priorities because of those recurring events, right? But if you don't have Sith Eternal Emperor, I could see an argument that you could divert that farm and instead focus here, or Lord Vader. Yeah, a case could be made that skipping him to do Galactic Legend Ahsoka still makes sense. So I don't hate that. I think that's flexible based on where you're at with your account and what your preferences are and all that. So anyways, that is that's it. That's my take, my hot, spicy take on Galactic Legend Ahsoka. I want to go over a couple numbers here. So I've got this pulled up for her performance in Grand Arena. This is, what do you do with her, right? In 3v3s, the team of Ahsoka, Ezra, and Sabine, we don't have a lot of data here. Sort by scene. Okay, let's do by scene. Looks like the most common thing is to knock out a Jabba. All right. You got a team that can knock out Jabba. That's valuable. Win rate of 100%. Knock out a traditional Kenobi team with the 2 Kenobis and Cat. Sample size is only 35, right? That's not great. But 100%. So being able to beat Kenobi, in my book, very high value. Now, some of the other things she struggles with is Rey. Don't take her against Rey. Not right now. That's not wise. That's not working. Only 25% there. Against Leia, pretty sketchy, 44%. She does okay against Queen Amidala. I mean, some of the other big ones, Great Mothers. It's good to have another option for Great Mothers. But, like, look, on attack, if she can just knock out Kenobi reliably, I like that. And yes, she does have some Datacron help right now, but let me look at the battles here and see view in Insight. Here we go. I thought I was in Insight. Oops. Here we go. Versus Kenobi, 100%. Let's look at the battles and see. Yeah, I mean, that's with Datacrons, but it's not all with her Datacron. And there, actually, I'm looking further, and some of them don't even have Datacrons equipped. So 100% is 100%. You know, that's pretty substantial stuff. Okay, now if you are attacking, if you are going up against her, this is what you need to do. Let me put in Ahsoka. I'm on Insight right now, pulling the numbers. All right, so if you see an Ahsoka, Ezra, Sabine team, you want to hit it with Leia. Looks like that's a decent shot. Sith Eternal and Bane together, super good chances of winning. That is 99.25%. Hot tomatoes. Yeah, I said it. It's a thing. But yeah, the typical Leia Drogon R2 is 73%. Slicker about 74%. So you got some options. Kenobi, don't do it. Do not engage. That's it. She rocks Kenobi. JML, don't even think about it. No, he's not going to do it. So Slicker, Leia, and Sith Eternal, that's not a bad thing. Like, if you put her on defense, you're forcing them to use one of the three best offensive teams. And that's value. That is definite value to me. So, is she terrible? No. Should you focus on her? It depends. Do I think they did a pretty good job designing her? Yeah. Yeah, I really do. I'm comfortable with her hitting the game. Whereas normally new stuff, like Punishing One, I wept in the corner of my bathroom for about an hour and a half when I first read that. Just curled up, wept, uncontrollably. No. But yeah, I like it. Okay, one last thing before we roll on is Goth Rey, as Josh created notes for the show. We were going to record it last night, and something came up, and, you know, life happened. We are back from break, but life continues to happen. So, Goth Rey. Hot Topic Rey, maybe? I'm going to go with Hot Topic Rey. We'll see if that works. How impactful is she going to be? Because Ahsoka, we've kind of come down to this. Like, you could put her on defense and she's, like, really going to pull one of their best teams. You can use her to attack and beat a lot of high-value teams in Grand Arena as well. So, pretty decent PvP value, but that's, of course, where it ends. There's no PvE content for her. Goth Rey. Okay, let's break down a couple things. She starts the match untargetable, which is nice, right? She's First Order, so she's going to be on a team typically with Supreme Leader Kylo. She saves allies from Commander Ahsoka in that Commander Ahsoka is going to jump over there and delete someone, right? Well, the thing is, she reses people when, what's the res condition? In Grand Arena, anyways. I think it's only in Grand Arena that she reses. Yeah. Oh, no. Never mind. I thought it was the res. It's while she's untargetable in Grand Arena, First Order allies simply cannot be defeated. I thought they had damage immunity. No, they cannot be defeated. So that's going to turn Slicker into something. I mean, he's already something, but now we're talking about also beating Kenobi. So Kenobi and Kat just keep getting pushed further and further down the tier list. I mean, they're still like a S tier team, right? But they're like nearing that A tier. And this might drop them down to it. So I think that impact's going to be pretty big. We should also note her malevolent lineage. That's the one that's kind of modeled after Galactic Legend Rey, where you deal true damage to all enemies, split among them. If Kylo's in the leader slot, any Kylo, they all get shocked in grand arenas that can't be resisted. He assists. Then everyone not in the leader slot is who's not taunting gets stealth. It's a pretty big, like massive kind of AoE attack. Now, this also drops the enemy's max protection for the rest of the encounter. If they have bonus protection, it drops it by 20%. So huge, right? Now, whenever Kylo enters aggressive stance, the cooldown for that is reset. So she's going to be doing that nonstop. He's always popping back into his aggressive stance, right? So he does his aggressive stance. He's immune to damage. He's absolutely tearing the team apart. He comes out of the stance. She does that AoE. He's right back in it. And it's pretty crazy because she also boosts his ult. I mean, it's going to be a powerful combo, and it's impossible to say exactly what impact it's going to have. But I think she's in contention for being one of the best Conquest characters. I mean, we talk about Kat. Kat is right up there. Maul is right up there. In my book, those two are probably... I mean, Trench is pretty... he's not very close at all. Those two are probably, like, the biggest, right? Bane. Oh, my God, Bane. Never mind. Bane's the biggest. Those two are close. But I think she's going to be right up there. So, as far as overall impact... more people have Slicker, so she's going to have a big impact right away as people are going to unlock her in bigger numbers than they are Ahsoka Tano for now. Ahsoka will catch up. Well, she probably won't. She probably won't catch up, but she'll come close. Because it's still like the last Galactic Legend people grind, but it'll kind of even out, and I think long term, Ahsoka's going to have a bigger impact. But yeah, that's my spicy take there. I got all kinds of spicy takes tonight. Conquest finished. Our notes were this is from our official Galactic War Report document. Josh, no red crate. Sean, yes red crate. So that's how we did there. Let's see here. Grand Arena happened. It's happening right now. I could be playing Grand Arena, but I'm here with you doing this. Actually, all I can do is change my defense right now. We're in between rounds. Looks like Josh did okay. Couple of wins and a loss. That's how it goes sometimes. That first battle, oh my goodness, he fought XDDA. Final score, he won 274 to 169. Like, talk about Bush League scores. That's amazing. Second round, he faced off against Obar. This was a little more of a flex. 1593 to 66. Yeah, that's where you log in, you do a battle, and you peace out. Round 3, he went up against W4 and 4 lore. Boy, that looks like it's supposed to be like a misspelled swear or something. I was real cautious reading that. This one didn't go his way. It just really didn't. Final score, 1146 to 2000. They had an interesting Great Mothers versus Great Mothers matchup, wherein his Great Mothers held against an attack from Great Mothers. Huh. That's fun. All right, for me, last week was not my week. It was almost my week, but it was Lucar's week. So round one, beat the snot out of Sankros. I just cleaned his clock, right? 2072 to 551. I feel like an animal. Like I am roided out and ready for some intense jungle combat or something. 2072 to 551. Round two, I go in there mouth foaming, just leaping into the ring against Alexi. I put up 2040. Not as good, but I'm pretty satisfied with that. They start tearing through my defenses. My Rey held against a Bane. Felt pretty good. My Queen Amidala held against a Slicker. At this point, you can't win. You're done. You got 2 failed attempts. You're not making that up. So I won 2040 to 993. And then round 3 versus Lucar. This guy put up 2,003 points. That is achievable. And I looked at his roster. I can do this. And then I forgot to attack. I remembered about an hour after it ended. Usually I remember like 4 minutes after it ends. Oops. So I made it to the finals and I laid a goose egg. We'll see how this next round goes. I lost the first, or this next week goes. I lost the first round. So hooray me, right? That's not great. I lost a 3v3 Starkiller versus Rey match with the Starkiller Kron. What? How do you lose that? That was the Starkiller with Seer and Malicos and his Kron, and I lost it? Man, I'm telling you, Ezra is messing people up. You look at the report of who's getting holds. Let me look at top defensive teams right now. GAC meta squads. On defense, it is 46% holder. I was like, wait a second. Why am I not seeing it? It's sorted by count. Sort by hold percentage. It's the number one. 46% hold percentage. That is nuts. Ahsoka Tano with Ezra Bridger and Padawan Sabine is pulling a 40% hold rate. I expect that to drop for 2 reasons. 1, her datacron. 2, people will figure this out a little better. You know, I'm sure a lot of people attempted Kenobi thinking, well, that beats anything. No, it doesn't. But that'll change, but it's still, that's making a statement. 40% and Rey with 46%. Get out of here. Then I lost something else really stupid. Oh, yeah. So there was a Leviathan on defense. So I beat that with a mirror match because with Scythe, you call in Scythe as the first reinforcement and you're basically set, right? However, they also had a Executor on defense with a bigger punishing one than mine. Mine is 4 stars, I think. Yeah, I think I'm nearing 5 stars. Theirs was 6 stars. And that thing ripped me apart. So now you're in a spot where, well, I'm not going to try this with profundity. But I guess I kind of have to. So I did that. That went like you might think. Now I can't clear ships and I can't clear Rey in the bottom front sector. And that was it. I don't have the score handy, but it wasn't good. I put up like 1,000 or so. All right. Before I get out of here and go to bed or whatever is next for me, it's probably almost bedtime. I'm going to tell you who I'm grinding. And normally Josh would ask me this, but he's not here to ask me. And that's really, really sad. But doesn't mean I won't tell you. Out of 100 up to Relic 7. That feels so good to say. I mean, it took me 3 weeks to get there. But, well, it didn't take me all of that 3 weeks. But still. Padawan Sabine, still chilling. Huyang, chilling. General Syndulla made some progress there. 35 up to 47 out of 85. How, you might ask? Because I got impatient and bought a couple more of those crystal packs. And obviously, as you can tell by the numbers, didn't really luck out. Balin Skull requirements. Shin went from 43 out of 65 up to 29 out of 85. Marok, I'm still working on the pronunciation there. Marok went from 38 out of 65 up to 50 out of 85. I that feels great. And next week I'll be like, they didn't move at all. Punishing One was 21 out of 30. Now it's 53 out of 65. So it's like up a star and almost up to another star. That is awesome. Now Zetas. Baby, I did some Zeta-ing and some Relicing, and it's pretty much all stupid. Zetas I applied are as follows. Young Lando. Nihilus's lead. I know, I'm never going to use it, but I was stacking Zetas, burning a hole in my pocket. And even better than that, because that is something I could use potentially if there's some weird galactic challenge feat that's like you have to win with Nihilus in the leader slot, then cool, right? Now here's the real pièce de résistance. Aura Singh's Zeta for her I forget what the move is called. Sniper's Expertise, I think. It's the one that has bonus effects if the target is toppled. You know, like a Rancor or a tank. Yeah, I did that. I don't care. I had a lot of Zetas. I'm almost past the Zeta bottleneck in the way that you remember, like few years ago. Well, it's probably a couple of years ago. I got past Omicrons. Like, Omicrons just mean nothing to me, right? I've got thousands of them. And that's the way this game... This isn't a flex. I swear, I don't mean it as a flex. That's the way this game works. Something's a problem to you until eventually they kind of ease the scarcity of it. And it becomes not a problem. But they're always introducing new things that will be problems, right? So let's talk about relics a little, shall we? I did, I don't know, I might have done some other stupid Zetas that I don't remember. Relics, I took Darth Vader from Relic 7 to 8. Feels pretty good, you know? I mean, he's big-time attacker, want him to hit better, and the most iconic character in Star Wars, if you ask me. So I don't mind doing that. I also I'm trying to clear out all of my Gear 12s that are not in relics. And I know there's no reason to do that, but I just kind of want to. So like stuff like Ugnaught and Hoth Rebel Soldier and, you know, those kind of things. I'm doing those now. But also, because we had all the bonus drops in Cantina, I was able to get some more Galactic Legends up to Relic 9. I took Slicker up to 9. I took... Who else did I take? I'm trying to think of who wasn't already at 9. There was definitely another one in there. I don't have Jabba or Sith Eternal Emperor at Relic 9. And I kind of want to, just because they're the only two I don't have at Relic 9 now. And that feels, I don't know, sort of weird. But I kind of don't really have a lot of pull to do that because it doesn't matter. It's not going to actually help, right? So the other thing I did, I took Skiffguard Lando up from Relic 5 to Relic 7, and I'm going to take him to 8. Simply because the rest of my Jabba team is Relic 8. So for territory battles, when you need 8 cartel or 8 whatever, when you're doing the Jabba mission and you need some people to go with him, like I have to sub in Han Solo, but then you lose all the bonuses for if the full team is Hut Cartel, then, and so the whole point of me not doing it was I was trying to kind of cut corners in the Crate Dragon Raid, and it worked, But here I am, much later, actually doing the thing. So, as far as Omicrons, I just applied Saw Gerrera's. I'm kind of excited to try that out. I've wanted that for a while, and now I have it. Came really close to doing Zori Bliss because that enables that team, Dash enables his team, and I know his team's not great right now. So Zori is definitely a bigger priority. The other things are, I think Great Mothers is awesome. I know it's Territory War, and that's like a taboo Omicron thing, but it's great. And then we've got some new characters, right? Like Balin Skull, like Darkside Rey, like whatever else is coming. And I have a hard time saving up. It kills me to be saving stuff at all, which is why I make these ridiculous choices. But realistically, for Omicrons, this was probably my last hurrah for a little while, was getting this Saw one, because I'm definitely going to need some of the newer ones too. Okay, Datacrons for this conquest. I'm not going to lie, I went pretty hard. I got 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 level 9 Datacrons. I got the Tusken Raider, Stormtrooper Han, Captain Han, Range Trooper, which I would love to re-roll into Snowtrooper because that's a spicy one. Although for now, I don't hate having a Range Trooper one. Cat, Fulcrum, and C-3PO. So, I mean, I don't know if that's a personal best for a first run at Conquest to have that many at level 9 already, but I don't know. Feels like maybe a personal best. Makes me feel good. All right, that's all we got for you this week. It may not be the best advice, but at least we didn't recommend you give Aura Singh her raid Zeta. Just leave that to the professionals. If you want to continue the conversation, join our Discord server. It's linked in the show description. Become a real live Jawa by supporting us on Patreon, and share your thoughts by leaving us a podcast review. Big thanks also go out to Pabuapa and swgoh.gg and swgohevents.com for providing all the hard data we misinterpret weekly. Thanks for tuning in, and may the Force and RNG be with you.